to send out to your listserv. Hi, my name is Jill. I am the partner success leader for the Palace Project. I work with all of our partner libraries as they think about promotion as well as adoption of the Palace Project app and how to launch to their communities. I'm joined today by our implementation manager, Tara Carpenter. Um, we're pretty informal with the Palace Project. If you have any questions during the presentation, you're more than welcome to drop them in the chat or unmute and ask. There's only a few of us on here. It's not a problem at all. I have a brief presentation that I'll provide, some materials that we have that are available to you, as well as some talking points. And then there should be plenty of time for questions if you have any. So with that, I'm going to share my screen really quickly. Are you able to see that?
Yep, I see it.
Perfect. So today we're going to talk about marketing and promotion of the Palace Project app. So how to promote Palace to your community. I know that the app has been live for a while, and there's some questions about, we have this resource. How do we talk about it? So we'll talk about some just introductory information as well as some common questions to think about. We'll talk about some talking points, promoting Palace. You'll see based some examples of what libraries are doing, as well as learn about some of the resources that are available to you as Palace libraries, as well as some examples of how libraries are actively utilizing Palace in their communities. So before we get started, I think it's really important to kind of address the elephant in the room with regards to the questions that we get asked. Very common patron questions. A lot of these revolve around, why should I use the app? What makes it special? How do I get started with this? How do I log in? Can I use both Libby and Palace? What if I already have titles checked out in Libby? Will it be notified when holds and loans are available? As well as some information around streaming and what if I have a card for multiple libraries. I won't go through these line by line, but we will talk about some information and resources today that I think will help you to feel confident in answering these questions. I do think it's important to kind of talk about Libby because most libraries have access to this. I know that you have a very large eZone collection, and I think for us, Overdrive is a partner. We work with them to make their content available in the Palace Project app. So in terms of, is this another app or is Libby going away? The answer is no to Libby going away, obviously. We work with Overdrive to make their materials available, and this is just an opportunity for patrons to see more content that's available to them in one place. The nice thing about our API agreement with Overdrive is that loans and holds from Libby will appear in the Palace app. So if a patron places a book on hold in Libby, it will show up in their reservations tab on the Palace Project app. If they borrow a book in Palace, it will show up in Libby. And I think the only thing that's really important to make aware, if a patron starts reading in one app and transitions to the other, the reading placement will not move from one app to the other just because of the way the information is stored on a device. So loans and holds will transfer between the devices. On Overdrive content, reading placement will not. We do have push notifications available that for loans and holds. So if a item is ready to be borrowed, a patron will be notified. One last thing about device compatibility. Right now, we are a mobile app for iOS and Android mobile phones and tablets. Unfortunately, that means that we do not and are not compatible with Kindle devices. This is something that we've tried to pursue with Amazon in the past, but they're really uninterested in putting us in their app store right now. But it's something that we'll continue to pursue. So what makes Palace special? Just a few talking points, and I think these are the major things that are important things to know about our platform. So really, when we are talking about Palace, we're talking about more. We are able to aggregate multiple content sources into one place. It's one simple app. So basically, the idea is that patrons have access to more of their library's ebooks and audiobooks in place. The idea really is that it doesn't matter where you're sourcing your content from or what vendor, uh, and it doesn't patrons don't necessarily need to know where you're sourcing that content, just that it's coming from the library. So all of that content is fed into the app side by side uh, to make it available to patrons in an easy, streamlined place. Additionally, the app is designed for discovery. Palace prioritizes available content, and it will surface that available content to the top of the catalog page. So the idea here is to prioritize available titles to increase discovery. This is great if you have some backlist bestsellers. So things people might have read, people might have been on a hold queue for 2 or 3 years ago is still available to them in your collection, and it's still great content for them to read today. We do offer some unique content and innovative partnerships. So there's some options for community provided material and other library driven content. In addition to being a platform, we also have a marketplace as well as some partnerships with other publishers like Blackstone Audio, as well as another company called Unlimited Listens. We do work very closely with our BiblioBoard partners to support their indie author project content, which also integrates into the app. And lastly, we really do aspire to be an app for everyone. So we are built on the idea of accessibility and ease of use. The app is deliberately streamlined and is great for younger users or older populations that are interested in ebooks and audiobooks and haven't taken the plunge yet. It's streamlined with user-centered design in place and a focus on accessibility. So an app for all ages and abilities. Building on that idea of discovery, we do have some additional components. That default setting, as I said, is to showcase titles that are currently available. So availability is its default setting. Patrons can look at things that are the whole collection. So if they are looking to browse through titles that might have hold SKUs on them, that's fine. They can change in their search preferences when they go into the custom lanes. Additionally, the idea is generally to highlight your whole collections over your hold queues. You were sourcing content from so many different places, and a lot of it is really great content that might get overlooked for bestsellers or for content that is really popular or trending right now. We're really trying to surface and highlight that really great content that you've purchased in the past, that might still be really relevant now that patrons might not even know that you have. So again, that displays your backlist selections alongside those more recent titles that are currently available now. Additionally, if you do have novelist subscriptions, we are able to integrate that. So that provides a further layer of reading recommendations for patrons. Beyond that, we do have a lot of promotional materials as well as outreach support. Um, most of our materials are housed on our library resources page on the Palace Project website. This is a compendium of pretty much everything that we have. So it's a combination of the digital assets and logos, as well as training videos on our YouTube page in English and Spanish. There are recorded trainings and webinars. There's printable materials, as well as some digital collateral, all of our external links to our wiki, our community, as well as signing up for our newsletter. Everything is on this website. Additionally, there are some instructional materials on our wiki page. So if you have staff members that are interested in learning more about Palace and learn better with written materials as opposed to our training videos, those are available to you as well. And all of these resources can be used for both education of staff as well as patrons. Some information might be more relevant to staff, but you can utilize these to build your own promotional materials, to build your own instructional resources and the like. We do have some getting started guides, pretty much a 5-step process to how to download the app to borrow a book. that are really great and easy to utilize. So beyond that, I figured it would be a really great opportunity for us to kind of showcase how our libraries have been using these resources to promote Palace to their communities. These are some social examples on Instagram, utilizing some of the resources that we've put on our library resources page. So in the middle, you can see that one of our libraries in Connecticut have utilized those talking points to really highlight what makes Palace different. Some libraries have chosen the Libby Plus rhetoric to say that, you know, it is like Libby in that it is a mobile app, but there's more content available to them in one place. I think that's what Monterey Park is trying to get to too. Download the app to access both loads of ebooks and audiobooks. Huntington Beach in California is a grant recipient library that has done some specialized collection development. So they've really highlighted the collections that they've built. This is from, I would say, 2 years ago for their beach themed collection. Beyond that, we've recently partnered with the state of Georgia and are in the process of rolling out, I would say, probably around 50 libraries. And this is how South Georgia Regional has chosen to kind of talk about library Palace with their patrons. Again, talking about that more multiple content sources in one simple app. Speaking more broadly, Georgia libraries have access to content from, I would say, at least 3 or 4 different vendors in addition to the Palace project. So they have content from BiblioBoard, they have content from Overdrive, they have content from Baker and Taylor, as well as others. Some have even purchased the Blackstone Unlimited collection, which is all available alongside each other in the Palace Project app. I did mention that we do have a printout getting started guide, but the city of Corona actually created their own in both English and Spanish. And I think this is just to say that multilingual materials are a great opportunity to have broader reach within your communities, and that there are libraries that are utilizing the resources that we provided them in order to reach both communities. If you do have Spanish speaking patrons, we do have training videos for how to use the app for iOS and Android in both English and Spanish. So that's something that you can share with them. Each video is about, I would say, 5 or 6 minutes, showcasing how to download the app, as well as how to go through, borrow a book, look at their loans and holds, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so we do beyond that have some examples of how partner libraries of ours are using the Palace Project to increase discovery, manage collections, and highlight their community editions, utilizing the app. I always think it's great to start with California. They're one of our largest partners that have really invested time into working with us. They have a statewide shared collection called eBooks for All, and right now there are over 100,000, I believe it's licenses or titles and growing. They've been able to provide some matching grants available for libraries in the state. Their eBooks for All collection development grants for these participating libraries. And the idea there is to kind of build on the idea of shared ownership of the collection. So by providing funds to these individual libraries, they're able to, one, curate collections to meet their community's needs, but also build into that shared collection for everyone in the state. So I mentioned Huntington Beach has their own different projects they've done. I'll talk more about those on the next slide. But other areas in the state, Oakland, Sonoma County, Stanislaus County, and others have kind of created these unique collections in order to, you know, kind of give back to the community based on what the state has provided to them. With California, we also have an annual summit to kind of exchange ideas. So all of the libraries that have partnered with Palace as well as some others are included in this, and it's an opportunity to talk about, you know, some of the strengths, some of the challenges they faced, how they are promoting the collection within their library, as well as there is always a panel with other states to talk about what other states are doing. Beyond this, California has done some statewide reading initiatives, including their summer reading, El Dia de los Niños, and I believe there was a first partner summer reading, and then I think there was a second collection similar by another agency. All of those lanes were shared with every library in the state. Huntington Beach Public Library. I think this is really great. It says it's a two-time grant recipient. They're actually a three-time grant recipient. They'll have a new project starting this fall. And this is really giving them an opportunity to, one, purchase content for a community that, was very new to ebooks. So it is an aging population that was somewhat hesitant to try out e-reading devices, e-reading on phones. So each project has really kind of focused on the interests and niche needs of that community. The first, as I mentioned, was about beach life and maritime themes. There was some, I guess, marine biology themed books, which were really neat. This year's project was more nice, not a lot of spice, which I think had 3 or 4 different key areas. One was cozy mysteries. There were some holiday books, as well as some clean romance novels. And lastly, we are working into fiscal year 2025. So there will be a collection of cultural heritage books for Huntington Beach coming forward. And because of the work that the library has put into promotion, as well as, really taking the time to teach patrons on how to utilize the app, the collections have seen significant circulation. Another new library for us to kind of talk about is what's going on in Canada. We have another large system in Edmonton that will be launching soon, but Vancouver Public Library has taken a really interesting approach. They are looking at Palace as their primary avenue for audiobooks. So they are focusing primarily on audiobooks and their early promotion. So they have those always available audiobooks, as well as Audible Studios content. And they are curating custom lanes with their staff. So they have some staff picks on fiction and nonfiction. And, obviously Audible is a big deal for libraries in general, but I know in Canada especially, this is the first time that patrons will have access to that content at all. So Audible Studios is now available within the Palace Project. Connecticut is another one of our state partners. They have done a significant amount of work to support reading initiatives like the All CT Reads program, which is an annual reading read along. I believe there's usually about 3 or 4 picks per age group. There is a primary pick as well as kind of like long list winners. They do have an annual summer reading challenge that they also support. So libraries will have physical copies. The state, through their EGO program, which is the e-reading and electronic resources collections, will supplement. They also offer state literature award winners and nominees. There's a collection of Connecticut history. They also purchase content to support Exploring in America, which is a DEIA nonfiction initiative that was supported by the IMLS. For the few public libraries that do not currently partner with us, the state has put together a virtual library card, which allows patrons to access the shared collection. So it's really geared towards people who might not know that Palace is available in their library or isn't currently in their library, but might be in the future, as well as state employees. And again, all of these lanes have been made shareable. I know that Brad Bullis, our partner with Connecticut, has done a lot of curation work and is always open to making content available to libraries in the state. Beyond that, we work with Vermont. The Vermont Department of Libraries has a couple different initiatives. One is to support their Vermont State Library, which is geared towards state employees and has focused materials in fiction and nonfiction, as well as professional development. But Vermont has a really unique situation in that they do have a large population of travelers or seasonal residents. So with the Book Vermont Library, they are targeting those audiences. Again, this is a statewide shared collection, all of the Vermontiana, as they call it, and award winners. And with this, they've actually had developed, in collaboration with us, they developed some decals for promoting the project. And the idea is that librarians will go out into their communities and place the decals near tourism areas. So I know that one particular library was looking at like a summer camp or a camp in the area. We've talked about ski resorts and other spaces that might be open to this. And so this is both available to those seasonal residents. And again, it is a virtual library card. So for the libraries that have not chosen to move forward with us right now, this is a way of making that content available to patrons in those areas. Really, the opportunities here, unless there's some other creative ideas, including promoting library programming, community-led initiatives, local authors, lecture series or speaker events, local and statewide celebrations, trending topics, and more. It really is up to you as librarians to know what the best things to focus on in your community. Obviously, we do have those automated lanes that are great and have some curated sub lanes. But if you're looking to really kind of lean into this and really explore what's available, it's an opportunity to kind of put your collection development hats on and highlight the collections that have been curated by the state. If you are interested in learning about custom lists and lanes and how to customize Palace at your library, Tara and I will be doing a presentation on customizing Palace at your library on Thursday, September 26th at 2 p.m. And registration is open. We will definitely share these slides with all parties. So you can register there. We'll also make sure that this is available on the, I believe it's the OList calendar for continuing education. Just my contact information if you want to keep in touch. As I mentioned, there are some resources, including that Palace Library resources page that has all of the materials. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And if you have any questions, now's the time to chat through them.
I don't see any questions in the chat, but I will put our email address in the chat for everyone in case you think of something after you leave, but still want to reach us. Oh, we do have one, Jill.
Regarding, so the question for those that are not in the meeting right now or watching the recording, did Vermont make the decals themselves or did you take care of it through Palace directly? So we actually worked with them and our marketing team. In certain circumstances, we've been able to do some custom collaboration. I'm always open to trying new things. So if you have some ideas or if OList or Ocean State Libraries, OList and OSL are interested in doing some sort of initiative. We're definitely interested to work with either specific libraries or with the larger group. We might not be able to provide resources for everyone, but we can definitely talk through what the options are available. We do have a small budget that we can kind of allocate for these things, especially as you're looking to launch within your communities. You know, we'd love for patrons to start utilizing the app in Rhode Island. As I mentioned, it's been a couple of years now, and we'd really love to see, you know, what we can do to support you moving forward. So it's definitely something that I'm open to. And thank you, Lori, for putting the link in the chat for the upcoming training on the Palace Collection Manager. Awesome. So if you don't have any other questions, it's totally fine. Definitely feel like you can reach out to us, either myself directly or Tara and I are both at the support email, support@thepalaceproject.org. If you ever have any sort of feedback that you want to provide or have questions or have run into technical issues, it's definitely the kind of the easiest way to reach anyone on our team for general support. So thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you soon. Definitely reach out if you have any questions.
Thanks all.